folks. I'll start with Origin just to recap on all of that. And as we know, Mitch Moses is out of the clash for the Blues. Jerome Loy comes straight into the number 6, which keeps Matty Burton in the 18th man position. As far as the front row is concerned, Maxi King will come in and start the match. Of course, Mitch Barnett with that ACL, he's out, which means that Stefano Utukamanu comes into the 17 in jumper number 17. For the Maroons, in the words of our man Gibbo, people think ducks and drapes. I don't think ducks and drapes. I think they will run out 1 to 17. Jeremiah and I, one of their best in Origin 1. He's jumper number 16. Patrick Carrigan, number 17. And I suppose the big change there is Tom Dearden. He'll go to halfback. No Daly Cherry Evans, so he's out of the clash. And Beau Fermor, he's out of the side completely as well. I do think, Brian, that they will go 1 to 17 because I don't know why Billy would do it otherwise. I reckon they're just going to redline Mo Fodawaker. I reckon he's going to say, Mo, get out there and give me the greatest 10, 15, 20 minutes of your life, and then we might not even see him again.
Oh, I agree. Tino would probably Tino will start and do the same, but then Nenai will come on after, or him and Paddy will come on and play 60 minutes. So that's where we're going with that. But can I go to my game because I'm quite excited?
Yeah,
about
let's
this.
do it.
Yes,
Origin.
Origins. We've got it tomorrow. I've had it up to here with Origin. Let's go. Where? Right here. Let's do this. Why does I sound tinny? Why am I tinny? Do I sound tinny?
No, you don't sound tinny.
You're good.
No, you're
Solid.
good. You're good.
Let's go to Campbelltown for Friday, 8 p.m. West Tigers versus the Raiders. Good news because South is back. He returns after 3 games. He's been out with a knee injury. That's Fanua Pole. Sione Fainu, he reverts back to the bench. And our man, the Jahash, Alex Twal is also back on deck. He had the concussion. Talon De Silva has been added to the bench. Raiders, no Tamale. He's out with that dislocated kneecap. So, young Jed Stewart, Ricky's young bloke, is going to make his debut. He's been 18th man for 4 games this season, but he's a 23-year-old. He's getting his first start in the top grade. That's going to be a great day for Ricky. Ricky will cry.
Yep.
Ricky will cry. That's a chromie. Chromie crow.
Top left.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good scenes.
Just before we move on to the next game, I want to introduce the Maestro, who's helping us out. Maestro, where are you at with your Seagulls before we move on?
Tried to avoid them
the bye.
all afternoon. We've got the bye, Joel, so I'm just enjoying the weekend's footy and hopefully a Blues win over the weekend. We're in
You got
big,
nothing. You got nothing else to cheer about in your life,
No.
really, do you?
Well, I mean, there's Club World Cup on, there's
Football.
Test cricket, there's all these other sports,
Manly.
Wimbledon.
You and Sleazy Sandy there.
no.
Look at you. You're not even talking to each other.
It's just
I know.
Manly's
Have we only got you for 7 minutes, by the way?
something like that. Yeah, 7 minutes. 7 minutes.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's right. I'm devastated.
Topical.
Yeah.
Try the veal schnitzel. See you later.
Righto, Brooksy, the
Let's
big chat
go.
around the Warriors and the Panthers. Are they coming or they're not coming?
It's true, boys. It's true. I'm going to go to the away team first. Ivan Cleary has chosen to rest Origin stars Dylan Edwards, Nathan Cleary, Isaiah Yeo, Brian To'o, Liam Martin, while Lindsay Smith will play. So only 5 of the Origin squad. So he's going to be making the trip, right? So Lindsay Smith, fly over to Perth.
Come straight back.
Then will he just go the Perth-Auckland?
Does he
in New
need-
Zealand,
does he
flight
need to be there?
722.
Does he need to be there?
Lindsay Smith
Yeah.
in Perth?
No. Send your 18.
Is he on the red eye that night, do you reckon? What time's the
I
latest flight?
definitely think his
midnight.
eyes will be red.
Midnight.
No, because you land at 6:30, unless there's a direct straight to Christchurch
Auckland.
or Auckland. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, he'd want to be straight out of there, wouldn't he? Like, he couldn't
Does
hang
he
around.
want to be
Big
there?
flights.
He doesn't want to be there. Don't be there. Watch it down at
I know.
Winghouse.
He's named to start in this game, gents. So Dane Laurie will line up at fullback. These are the 5 players coming in. Paul Alamotti will be on the wing. Bradley Schneider at halfback. Isaiah Papali'i, the former Warrior, will start at the back row. And Matt Eisenhuth will come in at lock. Liam Henry returns from suspension, which is a nice boost for the bench. Trent Tolau, Luron Patea, and Luke Gardner. To the Warriors, big game for them. Former Panther James Fisher-Harris will be playing his former club. He's named it to start at prop. Moala Graham Talfa will play his first game since late last year, coming in for Kurt Capewell. Funny stat around that. It's sort of a crap stat. So 2 Kurtz came in for Queensland. This is through random footy stats.
Yep.
2 Kurtz came in, 2 Mitches left New South Wales, Barnett and Moses.
That's a good stat.
So that is pretty crappy. We've got Kurt Capewell rested after Origin. So there, Webby's resting his Origin star, Kurt Capewell. Wade Egan returns from a hip injury. Sam Healy will be 18th man. Rocco Berry with his hamstring. And Ali Leotawa ankle remain sidelined. So Berry on the shelf still.
What about the depth
Don't
they've
know when
got
the use
in
by
the
date.
outside backs?
Oh,
I mean, the Sharks are in all sorts with their outside back.
Yeah.
And this mob,
Yep.
they've got
Cozy.
Dessert.
Yeah, cozy situation with Cozzy on the
Cozzy as
reserves.
And what about the depth of hyphenated names? 6 of the first 8
Yep.
are double barrels.
That's true.
Do we-
Do we ever see a run-on team,
Stowers
1 to
Smith.
13, with double-barrel names?
Geez, that'd be hard to call.
Would it be?
I'd say so. It's a lot of words, a lot of names.
Shout out to the Maestro. Did you interview a double barrel on the weekend in
Yes.
Football New South Wales? What was his name?
Solomon John Monaghan Vaika. One of a ripping name.
Is that his
Plays in
sur-
George
is that his
City.
surname?
No, so his first name Solomon John,
Solomon John.
and then the last name Monaghan Vaika.
Oh, so double.
Double.
So I
just
think he's a bit of
SGA
I think he's a
today.
bit of a Nickel Klukstad. I think he's got a bit of
Norwegian.
Maori and
Scando.
Scando.
I thought
I don't
it was
know.
Norwegian.
I don't know if it's Norwegian, but it's Scando.
I don't
Definitely.
know
way.
too many.
John Scandalis.
I don't know too many double-barrel firsties. Can you think of other ones?
Sonny
Sonny
Bill.
Bill?
Frank Paul,
Frank Paul.
Pope John Paul.
Frank Walker.
John.
Yeah, John. Oh yeah.
Frank Walker from National Tiles.
Yeah. Good one. Nice story.
Yeah, good story.
So that is
Come on, you-
Warriors
There
Penrith.
it
Come on, you
3 p.m.
Australian hater. Let's go.
Yeah.
Go on,
Rank
you
Lamb
Australian-
here. Dolphins versus the Knights.
So you can't even say Rank
Frank
Lamb.
Walker, national
Frank Lamb.
Hello, Frank. Saturday, 3:30, also in Perth. Not the only game in Perth this week. Dolphins versus Knights, 5:30 p.m. local time for us here on the East Coast. Dolphins, Hammer has been named to back up from Origin. So Jake Avarillo, he goes to the centres. Max Fine to the reserves. Felice Kafusi, he is out suspended. So Martin Nichols starts the game in the front row. And Harrison Graham is added to the bench of the Dolphins for the Knights. Dom Young is back in the club where he scored 43 tries in 51 games. And also returning Bradman Best, returning from his hamstring injury. So he's back for the Knights as well.
Ooh.
Strong Knight squad. Kalen Ponga, he's going to be backing up after Origin. So Fletcher Sharp goes to 5'8". Tyson Frizzell is back. So Brodie Jones goes to the bench. Jack Hetherington's listed amongst the reserves with his return imminent. And that sees James Schiller move to 18th man. No Fletcher Hunt. No Jackson Hastings, no Kyle McCarthy. They all drop to the reserves.
What about this? Interesting note. Look who the captain of the Dolphins is. A young
Scrolling.
21-year-old.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Isaiah Katoa.
wow.
Is it going to help or hinder?
Help.
Help.
That,
Yeah.
Nothing
on-
seems,
he's
nothing
on
seems to
fire.
hinder this kid, does it?
no.
Yeah.
Except English food. Doesn't like English curries. Apparently he says it's dog shit. His words, not mine. Sorry.
This night side looks all right on paper. It looks okay on paper. It does.
Do you
It
reckon,
does.
Yes.
do you feel that Hammer and Kalen are going to knock around in Perth? Like, because they're the only ones over there.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that for 3 days they're going to be knocking around with,
Oh.
with each other?
Well, they're not coming back, are they?
No, they're coming back.
Imagine if they came back.
They're going to go.
Fly out again.
Would you take your team there early and get around the Origin or not? If you were a Dolphins and Knights, would you say, righto, boys, let's go and get over and get
Yeah,
into it?
it's not a bad shout.
Yeah.
Go down, maybe watch an AFL game.
Yeah.
No.
What?
No, probably not. We'll go to the zoo instead.
This a quokka.
This Newcastle Knights 1
Oh,
to
yeah.
7.
You can't kiss quackers.
What?
They're like cane toads, apparently.
Oh.
How'd you know?
Because I tried it.
Did
You
you
can't
like it?
kiss quackers. They've got something in their tongue
really?
or something when they lick you. Bit like,
Oh, I know. Yeah.
bit like the cane toads. You get the infection. You know?
Yes.
Walker.
Like
Yeah. There's something in their tongue.
This Newcastle Knights 1 to 7. Is that the strongest it's been all year?
Who's that, mate?
I think so.
Ponga,
Yep.
Yep.
Dominic Young, Dane Gagai,
Yeah.
Bradman Best, Greggy Marju, Fletcher Sharp, Jack Cogger.
Yep.
think
That's
so.
your best one.
That's the
through
best all
7,
year.
isn't it?
Yep.
1 through 7.
Yep.
I
Some
thought
cartel there.
Did you know? I thought Jackson Hastings played okay. He ran out of steam
It was good.
in the second half.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought that.
Like a kettle.
Well, it sort of got to him a bit, but there must be something going on.
As the tourist said, though, that's the best cartel in it that they've got. I think it is.
Oh, yes.
And let's move on to this game, the Rabbitohs versus the Storm. Now, what has Craig Bellamy done here? He will be in Perth, of course. So what is he going to do with his team? Well, let's go through this right away. And, a boost for the Bunnies. Latrell Mitchell has been named a backup from Origin. Skipper Cody Walker and Campbell Graham are listed among the reserves. Now, the Campbell Graham one's interesting because he made himself unavailable for the New South Wales 18th man.
Yeah, but he was ruled out. He didn't play against the Dogs.
Correct, yeah. But he's on an extended bench.
True.
Here, David Moali moves to the starting side to fill the void left by Ken Kolomatangi.
Well, that's a big loss.
Sean Kepi joins the bench. Jaden Sullivan with a calf injury sidelined. And the Englishman, Lewis Dodd, comes in at halfback for his 4th game of the season. So it'll be Lewis Dodd in 6, rather. Yeah. It'll be Lewis Dodd and Jamie Humphreys in the halves. Oh. That's the way it's shaping up there. Look, as far as Melbourne are concerned, the big stars have been named. There is a Munster. There is Stefano Utukamanu, Harry Grant. So they've all been named. Liero's been named as well. That's how they're shaping up there. So they look to be all systems go at this stage, Brian. That's how it's shaping up. The Bunnies in the Melbourne Storm.
The Will Warbrick outage is interesting, isn't it? This would be now at least 6 weeks.
I know.
Oh, at least.
Far out. Is Keegan G'day Russell G'day Smith playing? You know?
Keegan G'day Russell G'day Smith is number 23, Brian.
Oh, okay, I love
G'day.
That jersey.
Okay, let's get up to Broncos versus Sharks.
Big game.
Big game. Let's go to the Broncos first of all. Paddy Carrigan, Payne Haas, they have been named. Whether or not they do, we'll have to wait for that. Jack Gashevsky, he returns after an extended absence. And our big Ben Tukuru is in. So he had surgery last week. Oh, no, he's out, sorry. He's gone. He's out. Sorry.
The Tukuru family.
Benny Hunt's still out. Selwyn Cobbo's been listed on the reserve, so he's not playing. But new recruit, Ben Tatey, comes into the extended squad after signing a train and trial with the club.
North Sydney Bear.
Benny Tatey. Okay, that's interesting. Sharks, Talakai moves to the centre to replace Harodi, and Daniel Atkinson joins the bench. And that's the only change.
What a big game for both these teams.
Huge game. That is 2 p.m.
Cobbo watch. What are we doing there, boys?
Sunday.
Someone Cobbo watch. June 30. Is there a chance of a move or not?
They couldn't let him go, could they?
They're not playing.
Still got Mariner as well, right? In that extended reserve. So it's not like they're thin.
On pastry?
Thin-ish. Tasty on me.
Who do you like here?
Could be a potential move if the price is right. The place is right.
Oh, nice. Here we go.
Let's go, Brooks.
Right.
Get me to the Cowboys.
Chooks Cows, 4:05 p.m. If you're in Perth, it's 2:05 p.m. for some people. Accor Stadium. Roosters, they've named their 5 Origin stars.
Hang on, if you're in Perth, it's 2:05 for some people, but some people there it's not? Or
No, it's, There's a hidden meaning behind that one. So 5 Origin stars are named for the Roosters, the 3 Blues, the 2 Maroons, Toya, Collins, Watson, Crichton, Leniu. Toya's return sees Mark Nwanganita-Wase pushed to the wing, Dom Young, gone. Marky Mark spot now with Daniel Tupou on the wings. The shuffle in the pack sees Siwa Wong, Fahu White and Selesi Feketi retain their spots while Makahesi Makatoa and Taylor Losalu drop to the reserves. Victor Radley and Egan Butcher have entered the 11-day concussion protocol. Stand down. Cowboys. V squared, Viliami Vailea returns from suspension, pushing B squared, Braden Burns, to the reserves. While Johnny Bateman is also back from his suspension, missing that big flogging against the Dolphins. Origin stars Dearden, Robson, Nanai, Cotter, all been named. Tamalolo was a late withdrawal last week in that loss. He's out. That calf injury just keeping him on the sidelines. Harrison Edwards and Sam McIntyre go to the bench after starting last week. Caden Lars, who made his debut, and Tom Duffy dropped to reserves. Boys, Roosters, another 2 points there. Cowboys, can they bounce back? How are you feeling it?
They can bounce back, but the Chooks at home, too strong, even without Victor and Egan Butcher.
Can I ask you this, Fletch?
Nafahu looking so good now.
Nafahu White.
Can I ask you this?
Gun.
Having been an elite Origin player like yourself, Brian, who's got the worst card drawn here as a player? So you're going over to Perth, you're waking up Thursday. and you've finished the game, you've either drawn the series or you've won 2-0, depending on what team you play for. Jerome Luai and Hudson Young, they've got to come back and play on the Friday night in Sydney.
Yeah.
So hear me out. Friday night for those two. Then you've got Kalen Ponga and Hamiso having to stay in Perth.
That's
and
good.
play on Saturday.
Yeah.
Right. Then you've got the Melbourne Storm players and Latrell coming back to Sydney for a Saturday night game.
Yep.
And then you've also got the Broncos going back for a Sunday afternoon game. And then the last game of the round, you've got the Cowboys players and the Roosters players coming to Sydney. Who's got the worst draw of all those players?
I would say Hudson and Jerome.
Righto.
Because you got a 6-hour plane ride, stiff central.
Yep.
Especially if you've had
But at least you can get it done.
No, that's what, like, if you didn't have to travel, if you didn't have to get on the plane,
Yep.
I found that you were sweet.
Yep.
Like if you played it at home and
In
then
Sydney,
backed up,
and then that
Friday,
night you go to
that was
bed.
okay because the soreness didn't really start. It was okay. It was bearable.
Yeah.
But then when you're just lying in the plane, and then you've got to get up and go again.
What day was the worst day, gents?
Sunday.
No, well, how many days from...
Like Wednesday.
What
Wednesday.
day is Father's Day?
So
what day
if
is
you
Father's
played
Day?
Sunday, it would be Wednesday.
No, if you played Wednesday,
Wednesday,
the
it'll be
later it
Sunday.
was, the sore you were, and you're just going, oh,
Yeah.
God,
Oh, so-
because the alcohol's come out of your system.
So it's bad
Because you're
for
still
all
pretty
of them.
pissed.
Bad for all of them.
Bad for all of them. At this day and age, it's
Yeah.
too hard.
Too hard.
Back when we were going, I mean, Queensland was shit. It was like a walk in the park, you know.
Okay, let's
walking
walk into
around.
this
Shoes
park.
on?
Yeah.
Let's walk
Well,
into
we
this
actually
park.
we actually did a marathon once after an Origin game, just because we just wanted to get our legs
Oh,
down.
Yeah, you did. Yes.
But no, we did the Southo to surf, and AI told us to
jump in
to
the
walk
water.
2.5 k's, go in an ice bath, take photos of Canterbury players. Anywho,
Where are we up to, boys?
Final game, Eels versus Titans, Sunday, 6:15 at Combat Stadium, with no Mitch Moses and no Dylan Brown. We have a new Hearts pairing of Joash Papali'i and Dean Hawkins.
Oh.
Your Hearts for the Parramatta Eels. The only other change is Zach Lomax. He will back up after Origin, and Weramu Greg has been added to the bench for the first time this season. For the Titans, Tino Fa'asuamaleaui and Mo Fotuaika have both been named on the interchange bench as they look to back up from Origin. David Fafita has been named as 18th man and is set to return from ankle surgery earlier this month. Jojo Fafita, he also returns from a hand injury in the centres. And also, just to mention, for Bryce Cartwright, who was released today by the Parramatta Eels. Now, lovely business.
Yeah. Lovely business.
Much better than me. And he's playing for his junior side.
Yeah.
St. Mary's.
the Saints. So I found that quite admirable.
Yeah, good for him.
They're going to take his head off, but I thought going back to park footy, they'll try and flog him.
Is there any sort of way that the Panthers have said, mate, just come and play here? We haven't got room in the 30 or anything right now, but can you sit there? Like, is that a veiled attempt to try and maybe...
Could
he's
be.
a Cartwright. He's
Yeah.
a Cartwright,
What do they call it? A story arc or something?
Yeah.
Like, imagine him coming back. Penrith make the finals. He's
Well, look
in
at
the depth.
Jenko. Look at young
Jenko.
Jenkins.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
He was just playing
Yeah.
for St Mary's, and he's in the Origin
That's what I'm saying.
area, not the actual team, but the area.
What radius?
He's in the radius.
He's in the radius.
He's within the circumference of it.
Origin
Adam
radius.
Dewey was in the radius.
He was big on the radius.
Oh, that's
Oh.
better than premiership window. I reckon.
Radius?
In the premiership
In the
radius.
radius.
Or
Yeah,
that's
circumference
good.
of a
I like
premiership.
it. I like it.
Are we still going along the cartel?
Remember 50 years
Yeah,
time, they'll go,
cartel,
you know,
cartel.
your grandfather, Jenko, he was in the Origin radius.
That's right, yes. We
Once they played Origin, no, he was in the
He's
radius.
in the radius. You're not actually in the team, but you're on the... It's like you're on the radar.
Like the bomb, yeah.
You got a tracksuit. Yeah, you got a tracksuit. You got a tracksuit. There we go. All right, the run home with Joel and Fletch.
Oh, hang on. We'll have to do this in the ad break. Can we get this, two producers, either side of us? This is from Jared.
No, probably
This is
not.
from Jared. Boys, Billy's hit back at Aaron Woods about his grub comments. Pete Bedell just put the story up.
Ooh.
Let's find it, guys.
Do you care?
Ooh.
Do you seriously care?
No, I don't, but
Like,
we got a pad.
Yeah. Brent Reid, through the Daily Telegraph, the ARL Commission has taken the step of giving itself the power to charge players for offences on the field, informing the NRL clubs last night via email. An excerpt from the email to the clubs via the Daily Telegraph. A change has been made to the Judiciary Code, Brian, to further safeguard fairness to clubs and players and player safety and strengthen the match review process by adding a further layer of protection. The change provides both the Commission and the judiciary more flexibility with a view to ensure clubs and players are treated fairly. Now, Brent Reid states that clubs and players have concerns over the changes with the ARL Commission prior to Monday night's decision since talks began over the changes. However, the NRL believe that the rule can work in favour of the clubs and players because the Commission can also ask for a charge to be reviewed if they consider it to be inappropriate. Now,
hang on, is this both ways? Can they jump in if they say it's too heavy or too lenient?
Yes, they can.
Right.
So how I read this, right, why is this happening? This is how I read it. I feel as though this is a mechanism that you can trigger should the match review land on a decision that the vast majority of the public profusely disagree with.
Got you.
That's the way to sort of come in and go, don't you think that's the way out of it?
No, I feel the fact that they've put another extra level is to cover their backside.
So if you think...
I think it's lawyers getting involved again.
HIA stuff? Really?
Yeah.
So do you think if one's been missed...
Because why wouldn't the ARL Commission just go, right, MRC, you've got to do your job. This is your job.
Yep.
We're running the game. You have to find all these incidents during the game. Why do they need to come? The only reason I can think of, if it does get to legalities coming over the top, they go, well, listen, we put an extra level of protection on this. That's what it seems like to me.
Okay, let's have a little fun bet here. I reckon the very first time this happens, it will be on the back of the public outcry about something. I don't think it'll just happen on their own accord.
About too light or too heavy?
Either way. Unless they want to sort of just open the batting with something a bit cheap and just go...
Okay, well, I'm going to say this. I don't think they'll ever jump in if it's too heavy.
Okay, so going back to your legality argument.
It's the only way they're going to jump in is if someone
only way's up.
If someone got 2 to 4 weeks when the Commission it should be 5 to 7.
Yeah, that's right.
They're all going to... If you get called by the
only way is up.
Why do they need to tell us this? Wouldn't this be like in-house? Shouldn't they
you
just
have to tell it because as soon as it happens, people go, what's going on here?
No, don't make it public. Just say to the MRC... Match Review Committee, now listen, you get this right, otherwise we have power to come over the top and tell you, we're going up to 7 weeks. That's not worth it.
So then,
without telling you.
Yeah, okay. So I agree with that. So wouldn't it be therefore better to say to them, listen, instead of going down this path, you've still got to get to us your views on the Match Review Committee, your reviews, but we don't publish them for 2 days, and we get 2 days to look at them, to go through them all, and then we either vet them or we don't. Like, don't you think that'd be better than undermining them, so to speak?
Correct. And it looks like the Commission are coming over the top, like being Big Brother, so to speak.
Yeah.
Just Big Brother.
So keep the same thing, but give it 2 days until you publish it, perhaps, or a day before you publish it.
Yeah, and there was no need to come over the top to say the only reason why I think it's legality reasoning is because now they've made it public. So if there was a class action, the Commission can say, well, listen, we put this in place.
Yeah. Another layer. Alrighty, let's go down to Eagle Rocktown. Eels.
Sorry, this is a question here. This is from Western Sydney Eagle. I think the Ezra Mann situation has kicked this off. Well, no, because the Commission, this is different.
Yeah, just on the Ezra thing, right?
The MRC didn't rule on Ezra.
Just on the Ezra thing, and we all agree, or mostly agree, that the penalty that he got in the courts felt light. A lot of people would think it was very light. He's sentence there, or not so much sentence, but he's...
But it wasn't light. That's the rules. Because there was something in the paper about other charges from people, John Q. Citizen, for example.
Yeah.
That's what Ezra got was pretty much what everyone else would get.
Yeah, but
in the courts.
Okay. Well, fair enough. But where I'm going to is, once he's got the green light to play NRL, I don't think we're in any position to question whether he plays for Queensland or Australia or whatever else.
No.
Well, once you're allowed to play, aren't you?
Well, that's right, but that's what we do here.
That's what we do. Let's go back to another form of maroon, and that is of the Sea Eagle variety. The Sea Eagles, this is in the Sydney Morning Herald, have started internal meetings last Saturday, including a one-on-one between Manly coach Anthony Seibold and Chief Executive Tony Mestrov over the team's recent performances, with additional meetings being held among key stakeholders this week. The Sea Eagles head into a bye, and they've lost 3 of their past 4 games, but there have been some sloppy losses in that, Brian. Michael Chammas in the Sydney Morning Herald reporting that the first big change could occur next week with a potential shift, so he's talking about today, of Tom Trebojevic to the centres to accommodate the return of Lehigh Hopewate. Sorry, that's his for next week's game, of course, with the bye. I could easily see that happening. Then we move on to these 7-minute meetings. So Seabold has held 7-minute talks with each player, and Jimmy said, what does that remind you of? And I agree with that. It reminds you of either speed dating or a parent-teacher interview.
Those little time slots. Why 7, though? Why not 6?
Because he's been listening to you, Brian. He wants the odd number.
6-minute abs. Yeah, this is... we've all been here. Sure, we've all been at clubs where the crisis meeting comes in. Sometimes less is more.
Yep.
But when you're under pressure, you've got to come up with answers. You can't keep doing the same.
Is there a way out?
There is a way out, yes. Definitely there is a way out.
Do you like the proposed move or the reported move of Lehigh to fullback?
Yes, well, we've spoken about this.
Yeah.
Lehigh can't be on the wing.
No.
He's too good.
Too good.
He's got to be around the ball.
You had him on the show the other day, didn't you?
Yeah.
How was he in person?
Yeah, he's actually quite bigger than I thought.
Is he?
Yeah. No, he's quiet sort of kid. Still lives at home.
Introvert, sort of?
I think he was just shy. He's only 21.
Yeah. Okay.
There was a couple of
Good
little
player.
comments there, like that was
Cheeky,
which was straight out of the John Hopewate book.
Yeah. I tell you what, mate, he is a great sire, John Hopewate.
And he what?
Every representative junior team, there is a Hopewate name somewhere.
So I think we went through it, including Hop's daughter. I think they said 6. 6 of them played
Top flight.
NRL.
Yeah, wow.
So 5 of the boys.
Yep, that is quite remarkable. Just we go to the break, though. Tony Mestrov via the Sydney Morning Herald, he says, at the moment, and how do you read this, Brian? At the moment, Siebes is safe at this point. Siebes understands this as well as I do. It's all about winning games. Siebes is safe at this point. I actually believe this. I do believe that, and I believe they've got a fair relationship, Mestrov and Siebes.
Yep.
I do believe that if he can win his way out of it, play on.
What's a success story for them? They got him play semi-finals?
We'll talk about it. We'll look at their draw and we'll talk about it
I think
after
where they are now and what they've dished up, if they can make the 8, it would be a pass mark.
South Sydney's attempt to quit Accor Stadium to move to Allianz has been knocked back by the New South Wales government. The Minister for Sport, Steve Camper, wrote to Rabbitohs boss Blake Solly rejecting the Bunnies' bid to move. The Rabbitohs have been told they can play 2 or 3 matches a year at the Moore Park venue, but would be expected to remain at Homebush for the bulk of their games as they have a contract to play at Accor until 2031. So disappointed Blake Solly said this to the Daily Telegraph. Minister Camper has written to us rejecting our request. We'll review the letter and his reasons, then consider a response and our further options. We remain committed to discussing the issue with the government and Venues New South Wales. This is by no means the end of the process. So, Brian, it looks as though Mr. Camper, the Minister for Sport, Steve Camper, has basically said they could play 2, maybe 3 games a year.
Yeah.
What's wrong?
I've got a bit of an issue.
What happened?
So now, when you said Minister Camper,
Yes.
it sort of jogged my memory.
Right.
So the first time we went to Vegas,
Yes.
we had the chartered flight. And I was gallivanting up in business class, walking around and shaking hands and kissing babies, all that sort of. And I was talking next to Peter V'landys.
Yes.
Anywho, James Graham was up there with me. We had our pajamas on, we had our red wine in our hand,
Yeah.
we were having a good old time. And me and Jimmy Graham came up, and unbeknownst to me, he was behind me, and I fell back, and my red wine spilt all over a passenger. This passenger was asleep with a blanket and a white shirt on.
Please tell me their charter ticket didn't read a certain name.
Well, then, as I was talking to Mr. V'landys, I said, oh, shit, this bloke was still asleep.
Oh.
So as I've poured all the red wine, I've said, oh, give me a towel to Pete. And Pete said to me, you know who that is? And I go, who? And it's Stephen Camper.
Minister Camper.
So Minister Camper opened his eyes, and I was over the top of him just dabbing him down. He had his seatbelt in. It was all nice and neat. And I bolted.
Oh.
And Camper said to V'landys, he said, who was that? And he said, that's Brian Fletch. And Camper goes, he played for South, didn't he?
Play for South.
So I think, sorry, South Sydney fans, I think he's because I've mucked him up.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
Sorry to Blake Solly. Sorry to Reggie the Rabbit. Sorry to Russell Crowe. Sorry to the Burrow. Sorry to everyone who just thinks Cardinal Red and Myrtle Green, Brian. Look what you've done.
Yeah, but look, let's look at the positives. 2 or 3 games. We're happy with that.
You know when
You're
a dad...
you're a South fan. You're happy with that?
You know when a dad or a parent, they drag their kid to apologise in front of them?
I did apologise.
I think Blake Solly's got to drag you to Minister Campers and say, tell him what happened, Brian.
I was very apologetic to Minister Camper, and he's a Dragons fan. Brooksy, would we be able to get him on? And I'll tell my side of the story.
Okay, let's do that.
That red wine is so strong on planes. And, with all the, they say you get pissed much quicker.
Yeah, you do.
Because of the altitude.
Yeah, the only way is up, Brian.
Thanks for watching. For more great content, subscribe to SEN League, your home of the greatest game of all.